Good morning. Today we are going to learn some important basic concepts of income tax. First of all, what is tax? The term tax means statutory payment of to be made by the public and imposed by the government. The word tax derived from a Latin word taxature. It means to estimate or value. Tax is compulsory payment by a person to the government. The Constitution of India does not define the word tax, but according to Article 366, subsection 28 of Indian Constitution, taxation includes the imposition of any tax, general or special, and tax shall be constituted accordingly. Now we will see some definitions of the tax given by Professor Adams. Tax as from the standpoint of the state, a tax is source of derivative revenue. From the angle of the citizen, a tax is a collected payment from the administrative point of view. It is a demand for money by state in conformity to established rules. From the point of view of a theory, a tax is a contribution from individuals for common expenditure. On observing the above definition, the term tax has some features. The same can be studied as characteristics of tax also. Now we will see some characteristics of tax. Tax shall be imposed by the government only. Taxes are paid in the form of cash. But in some times in the ancient days, taxes were collected in the form of kind also. The aim of levying tax is to promote the welfare of the people living in the country. The object of tax is to raise revenue to the government. Tax is a legal collection. A payment of tax involves an element of sacrifice. It is levied by the government by virtue of its power conferred under the Constitution. Tax is not a payment for specific service rendered by the government to taxpayer. Tax may be imposed on income or wealth or on a commodity, that is either directly or indirectly, etc. But tax is actually paid by the individuals. Now we will see what is tax. Tax is a compulsory contribution to state revenue levied by the government on workers' income and business profits or added to the cost of some goods, services, and transactions. It may be direct tax or indirect tax. Direct tax is a tax such as income tax which is levied on the income or profits of the person who pays it rather than on goods or services. Indirect tax is levied on goods and services rather than on income or profits. Now, introduction. The present law of income tax is contained in the Income Tax Act 1961. The Income Tax Act contains the provisions for determination of taxable income, determination of tax liability produced for assessment, appeal, penalties, and prosecutions. It also lays down the powers and duties of various income tax authorities. The income tax law compiles the Income Tax Act 1961, Income Tax Rules 1962, notifications and circular issued by the Central Board of Direct Taxes, that means CBDT, Annual Finances Act, and judicial pronouncements by Supreme Court and High Court. Now, the methods of taxes. In this tax, we are having two types, direct tax and indirect tax. In direct tax, again we are having two types, income tax and wealth tax. In indirect tax, we are having four types of taxes. These are excise duty, VAT, service tax, customs duty. Again we will see in tax we are having two methods, direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax, again we are having two types, income tax and wealth tax. In indirect tax we are having four types, excise duty, VAT, service tax and customs duty. Now the word income. What is income? As per section 2 subsection 24, income includes profits or gains of business or profession, and dividend, voluntary contribution received by a charitable religious trust or university, educational institution or a hospital. Value of perquisite or profit in lieu of salary taxable under section 17 and special allowances or benefit specifically granted either to meet personal expenses or for performance of duties of office or an employment of profit. Export incentives like duty drawbacks, cash compensatory support, sale of license, etc. Interest, salary, bonus, commission, or remuneration earned by a partner of a firm from such firm. Amount received under the agreement. Capital gains chargeable under section 45. Profits and gains from the business of banking carried on by a cooperative society with its members. Winning from lotteries, crossword puzzles, races, including horse races, card games, and other games of any sort of from gambling or betting of any from or nature whatsoever. Deemed income under section 41 or 59. Sums received by assessee from his employees towards welfare fund, contributions such as provident fund, superannuation funds, etc. Amount received under keyman insurance policy, including bonus this. Amount received under agreement for a not carrying out activity in relation to any business or not sharing any know-how patent, copyrights, etc. Benefit or perquisite received from a company by a director or a person holding substantial interest or a relative of the director or such person. Gift as defined under section 56, subsection 2 and article 6. Any sum of money exceeding 50,000 rupees received by an individual or a HUF from any person during the previous year without consideration. Any consideration received for issue of shares as exceeds the fair market value of the shares referred to in section 56 subsection 2 and article 6 subsection B. Any sum of money referred to in class 9 of subsection 2 of section 56. Now, what is assessee? The word assessee is only we can see in the language tax. As per section 2 subsection 7 of the Act, assessee means a person by whom any tax or any other sum of money, interest, penalty is payable under the Act and includes every person in respect of whom any proceedings under this Act has been taken for the assessment of his income or assessment, offering benefits or the income of any other person in respect of which he is assessable or to determine the loss sustained by him or by such other person or to determine the amount of refund due to him or to such other person. Every person who is deemed to be an assessee under any provision of this Act. Every person who is deemed to be an assessee in default under any provision of this Act. Now, assessment year. Section 2, subsection 9. Assessment year means the period of 12 months commencing on 1st April every year and ending on 31st March of the next year. Income of previous of an assessee is taxed during the following assessment year at the rates prescribed by the relevant Finance Act. In our financial account, we are seeing the assessment year 1st January to December 31st. That is called financial year, and in this tax we are going to see assessment year. So in financial account, the year starting from January 1st and ending with December 31st. But comes to taxation, your assessment year is starting from 1st March and ending to 31st. This is called assessment year. Now we will see previous year, section 3. Income earned in a year is taxable in the next year. The year when each income is earned is known as previous year. From the assessment year 1989 and 90 onwards, all assessees are required to follow financial year, that is April 1st to March 31st, as previous year. The uniform previous year has to be followed for all sources of income. Income tax is computed on the total income of the previous year of every person in the assessment year. However, there are 5 exceptions to this rule. First one, assessment of non-residents in respect of their income from shipping business, section 172. And second one, assessment of persons living in India, section 174. Assessment of association of persons or body or individuals, artificial judicial person formed for a particular event or purpose, section 174A. Assessment of persons trying to alienate their assets with the object of avoiding liability to tax, section 175. Assessment in the income from discontinued business. Now, person. What is person? As per tax language, as per section 2, subsection 31, person includes an individual, a Hindu undivided family, a company, a firm, an association of persons or a body of individuals, whether incorporate or not, a local authority, every artificial judicial person not falling within any of the above categories. An individual, a nature human being, that is male or female, minor or a person of sound or a unsound mind. Now a Hindu undivided family. It consists of all persons linearly descended from a common ancestor and includes their wives and unmarried daughters. Accompanying section 2 subsection 17 defines the term company to mean any Indian company or anybody corporate incorporated by or under the laws of a country outside India, that is foreign company, or any institution associated or body which is or was accessible or was assessed a company for any assessment year under the Indian Income Tax Act 1922, or which is or was accessible or was issued under this act as a company for any assessment year commencing on before the first day of April 1970, or any institution, association or body, whether incorporated or not, and whether Indian or non-Indian, which is declared by general or special order of the board to be a company only for such assessment years, whether commencing before the first day of April 1971 or on a after the date, as may be specified in the declaration. A firm, a partnership firm, whether registered or not, an association of a person or a body of individuals, whether incorporated or not. The differences between association of a person and body of individuals is that whereas an association implies a voluntary getting together for a definite purpose, a body of individuals would be just a body without an intention to get together. Moreover, the members of body of individuals can be individuals only, whereas the members of an association of a person can be individual or non-individuals. Now, a local authority means a municipal committee, district board, body of port commissions, or other authority legally entitled to or entrusted by the government with the control and management of a municipal or local fund. Every artificial judicial person not falling within any of the above categories. Capital and revenue receipts. The objective of the income tax as it is tax only income generally revenue receipts unless specifically exempted. On the other hand, capital receipts are not chargeable to tax except when specifically provided in the Act. It may be observed that agreement is a capital receipt whereas an amount received under an agreement as compensation for loss of future profit is a revenue receipt. Now, capital and revenue expenditure. The objective of the Income Tax Act is to tax only income generally revenue receipts unless specifically exempted. On the other hand, capital receipts are not chargeable to tax except when specifically provided in the Act. It may be observed that a receipt in substitution of a source of income is a capital receipt, while a receipt in substitution of an income is a revenue receipt. An amount received as a compensation for surrender of certain rights under an agreement is a capital receipt, whereas an amount received under an agreement as compensation for loss of future profit is a revenue receipt. Now, capital and revenue expenditure. In computing taxable income, normally revenue expenditures incurred for the purpose of earning income is deductible from revenue receipts unless the law provides specific rules to disallow such expenditure wholly or partly. On the other hand, capital expenditure is not deductible while computing taxable income unless the law expressly so provides. Neither the capital expenditure nor revenue expenditures has been defined in the Act. However, from the facts and circumstances of each case and from the judicial decisions, the following general principles to be kept in mind. Number 1. Capital expenditures is incurred in acquiring, extending or improving a fixed assets, whereas revenue expenditures is incurred in the normal courses of business as a routine expenditure. Capital expenditures incurred for enduring benefits, whereas revenue expenditures is consumed within a previous year. Capital expenditures makes improvement with earning capacity of a business, whereas the revenue expenditures maintain the profit making capacity of a business. Capital expenditures is a non-occurring expenditure, whereas revenue expenditures is normally a recurring one. Now, computation of taxable income and tax liability of an assessee. Determine the residential status of the person as per section 6 of the asset. Calculate the incomes as per the provisions of respective heads of income. Section 14 classifies the income under 5 heads. Income from salaries, income from house property, profits and gains of business or profession, capital gains, income from other sources. Consider all the deductions and allowances given under the respective heads before arriving at the income. Exclude the income exempt under section 10 of the Act. Aggregate of income computed under the 5 heads of income after applying clubbing. Provisions and making adjustments of set off and carry forward classes to known as gross total income. Deduct therefrom the deductions admissible under section 80C or 80U. The balance is called total income. The total income is rounded off to the nearest multiple of rupees 10. This is section 288A. Add agricultural income in the total income calculated in above. The calculate tax on the aggregate of if such aggregate income is the total income. Calculate income tax on the net agricultural income is increased by 2 lakhs or 2,50,000 or 5 lakhs as the case may be, as if such interest increases net agricultural income where the total income. The amount of income tax determined under section 8 above will be deducted from the amount of income tax determined under 7 above. Calculate income tax on capital gains under sections 112 and on other income at specified rates. The balance of amount of income tax left as per 9 above plus the amount of income tax at 10 above will be the income tax in respect of the total income. The balance of amount of income tax left as per above plus The amount of income tax 10 above will be the income tax in the respect of total income. Deduct the following from the amount of tax calculated under tax deducted and collected at source. Advance tax paid, double taxation relief. The balance of amount left after deduction of items given in shall be the net tax payable or net tax refundable for the assessee. Net tax payable or refundable shall be rounded off the nearest multiple of 10 rupees. Along with the amount of net tax payable, the assessor shall have to pay penalties or fines if any imposed on him under the Income Tax Act. Now we will see the tax rates. For resident senior citizen who is above 16 years but less than 80 years during the previous year, the particular person is called senior citizen. Now we will see some percentages of senior citizen. If the income is 3 lakhs or up to 3 lakhs, the rate will be nil. If the income is 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs between, the percentage should be 10. And the income is 5 lakhs and between 10 lakhs, the percentage is 20. And the income is 10 lakhs or above 10 lakhs, the percentage should be 30. Now, for resident senior citizen who is 80 years during the previous year, up to 5 lakhs, the particular person rate is nil. Up to the income 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, the percentage should be 20. And the income is 10 lakhs and above 10 lakhs, the percentage will be 30. For every other individual, may be resident or non-resident, every HUF, AOP, POI, artificial judicial person, these are the rates. Above 2,50,000 or up to 2,50,000, the rate is nil. The income is 2,50,000 to between 5 lakhs, the percentage should be 20. And the income is 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs between, the percentage will be 20. And the income is 10 lakhs or above 10 lakhs, the percentage should be 30. A resident individual having total income not exceeding rupees 5 lakhs can avail rebate of 2000 or 100% of income tax, whichever is less, under section 87A. The amount of income tax computed in accordance with the above rates and special rates under section 111A and 112 relating to long-term capital gain shall be increased by a surcharge at the rate of 10% of such income tax in case the total income exceeds 1 crore. Now, marginal relief. The total amount payable as income tax and surcharge and total income exceeding 1 crore shall not exceed the total amount payable as income tax on a total income rupees 1 crore by more than the amount of income that exceeds 1 crore. In case of company having a total income of exceeding 10 crores, the amount payable as income tax and surcharge shall not exceed the total amount payable as income tax and surcharge on total income of 10 crores by more than the amount of income that exceeds 10 crore. Now, rounding of income and tax. Rounding of income. The total income computed under this act shall be rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10. Rounding of tax. The amount of tax including tax deducted at source and advance tax, interest, penalty, fine or any other sum payable and the amount of refund under the Income Tax Act shall be rounded off to the nearby 10 or 100. Forms are LLP at the rate of 13%. Surcharge is applicable at the rate of 10% of such income tax is in case of the total income exceeds 1 crore. For example, companies. For domestic company, the rate will be 30 and surcharge will be 5. For companies other than domestic companies at the rate of 40%. In case of companies other than domestic companies, the surcharge of 2% shall be levied if the total income exceeds 1 crore rupees but does not exceed 10 crore rupees and surcharge at the rate of 5% shall be levied if the total income exceeds 10 crore. However, For short-term capital gains, from transfer of a short-term capital asset, being an equity share or unity of an equity-oriented fund under Section 111A, income tax rate is 15% for all the assets. And for long-term capital gains, from transfer a long-term capital asset, income tax rate 20%. The amount of income tax as computed including surcharge thereon shall be increased by an education cess on income tax by 2% for the purpose of fulfilling the commitment of the central government to provide and finance individualized basic education, and 1% secondary and higher education cess shall also be charged at the rate of 1. Now, total income and tax payable. Determination of residential status, classification of income under different heads, exclusion of income not chargeable to tax, computation of income under each head, clubbing of income of a spouse, minor, child, etc., set of carry forward and set of losses. Computation of gross total income, deductions from gross total income, application of the rates of tax on total income, surcharge, education cess, and secondary and higher education cess on the income tax, advance tax and tax deduction at source. These are the basic concepts of taxation. Thank you.